You.
It's awesome to see a girl on here.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad to hear that. It always feels weird. I'm always the only girl in the room. I'm sure you kind of feel
Oh,
that.
I get it.
Yeah.
Been there.
Awesome. So I guess I just want to ask, it's been a little bit, not quite a year since you fought. Were you kind of anxious to get back in there? Did you want to get back in there sooner, or was this a good timeline for you?
I preferred to fight a little bit closer together. I was told, and if you listen to my interviews on my last fight, I was told that I was going to fight before the holidays last year. That didn't uh happen. There wasn't something available for me, and then it sounded like the cards were full, and then they promised me the beginning of January, and then that didn't happen, and then believe I was told February, and then here we are in March. So like I didn't want this much time off, but like here we are. It's okay. It's within like a I guess a decent amount of time, and yeah, so I'm here ready for March 31st.
What does that do for your mindset and like training and stuff when you're told, like, I've got kind of a date, sort of a date in mind, and then it gets pushed back, and then another, like, do you kind of have to restart things, or do you wait until you have a date and an opponent before you get really in geared and like feel like it's really happening?
Well, one thing I've had to kind of adjust to in MMA over the years is like expect change, expect things that are out of your control. Sometimes I was even saying the other day, there's a girl I know that's kind of just getting into fighting. She has like 4 fights, and she has had like 3 opponent changes during this training camp, and it's like very stressful to her. And when I first started, there was a lot less women fighting, so I think one of my fights, I even had like 7 opponent changes. And after that, it was like, I can't hear about my opponents anymore. I just need to train for me, and I need to train in a generalized way that gets me ready for whatever. Like I can't just train for a karate person, or I can't just train for a jujitsu person, or I can't train for whatever. I just need to like get good at everything. So I'm lacking nothing. And if it changes, oh well, I'm still on the same path. I'm still on the same trajectory. And so something with all of this is, it does give you a little bit of anxiety, especially like that, like the more or the more you're planning on, and then for the rug to get swept out from you, like you almost have to like not care too much until the dates are set, until the thing is signed. And it was a little frustrating on this one because I did expect to fight before the holidays, and I did expect to have the first fight of the year in January, so that kind of keeps you like a little anxious, like a little ready to go, like you're trying to schedule your life around that. You're going to kind of be in solitary confinement for that chunk of 10 weeks, 8 weeks, and when it gets moved, it changes planning, and it changes stuff you have. So and on top of it, I don't like too much time between fights, because momentum is really good, and emotions are they're it's much easier to stay in the present with like how things get. For example, like days that I feel nervous, or days that I feel tired, or days that I feel like um just pressure or pushed or whatever, where it's like, okay, I get like this, like this is normal, this is how this goes at this weekend, or this is how this goes on a Thursday because I did this all weekend, blah blah blah. This is how I get on sparring days, stuff like that, where the longer you have in between fights, the more that you kind of forget how you get, and you have to like relive it. And so I'm pretty good at that now. Like I know myself enough to know my patterns, and like what I'm made of, and how my brain and my body works, and like how camps work and stuff like that. But ideally I'd like to keep everything, a fight and then a nice little break afterwards. Put on some calories, go on a vacation, spend time with my kid, get a little lazy, and then miss it. That's the perfect thing, and that's usually about 5 6 months. So this one was a little long, a lot longer than I would have preferred, but it's not too long.
And you said you don't, you're training for you. You're training to be the best person that you are. What percentage of your fight camp is dedicated to your actual opponent? Like how much do you watch tape or formulate a game plan based off your opponent?
So in the beginning, I watched tape with my coaches. So I I don't talk about fighting. I don't watch fighting. I don't look at anyone's stuff once I leave the gym. Like everything happens at the gym. Once I leave the gym, I clock out, I go home. I won't even talk to people about the fight when I get home. I'll even say like, hey, if you're gonna hang out today, we're not talking about MMA. You know, we're not talking about any of that because I do like the excitement to wait. Like I do like to clock in and clock out. I don't want to be I want to be present at home when I'm at home, and I want to be present in the gym when I'm at the gym. The drive in between is the gray area, you know, like I can start getting like amped on the way or start winding down on the way back. But for the most part, it's yeah, it's a balance.
What were your thoughts when you got the name Leah? I mean, that's a pretty big name. A lot of people are well aware of who she is. Like, what did you think when you got that matchup?
um I know it had been being talked about, so it was definitely already on my radar. And she's been doing great in her fights and coming up. And yeah, I think it's a good fight. I think that she's earned her position. I think I've earned my position, and we really didn't know what the next fight was going to be because I was told it was going to be a title fight. I believe Lee was even told it was going to be a title fight for the vacant title because Cyborg left but didn't really leave, but like I don't know. And so we were told to plan for a 5-round fight, and then a couple weeks in we're told to plan for it to be a regular fight. So um yeah, that's kind of all I know at this point. And yeah, she was looking and wanted to take a title tour as well, so you know, this is where we lock horns.
Does does knowing that you're only going to fight 3 rounds with her change, do you think, really how the game plan is going to be, or do you feel like it would have been the same game plan if it was 3 or 5 rounds?
No, it's the same game plan. The only difference is expect 5 rounds worth of cardio versus 3 rounds worth of cardio. But you know, at the end of the day, the real plan is to never have to use the whole time anyway. You know, I'd love to get the finish, and I work to get the finish. So I prepare for the long game, but you know, expect and want and am working and on the short game.
And you brought up Cyborg. There's been some talk. I know she said that you're running from her, and people are wondering, when is this fight going to happen? Because we all know that this is the fight to make. What have you heard, or what would your game plan be, or your desire after this fight? Do you want to try to aim for Cyborg, or do you feel like she's gone and out of the question at this point?
I just don't like I can't care anymore because the last 3 fights I was told that my next fight's a title fight against her. And I mentioned I think the last 3 fights and all the interviews too that I have been my condition is that we all take the same independent drug testing. You know, I've heard some things, and um I just want it to be fair, and I want it to be good, and I want integrity on all ends on that, and that's it. So I really don't know. I know she's been kind of trolling me, looking places, trying to say that I'm like dodging her and that I need to sign the contract, but she doesn't even have a contract with the promotion, let alone a contract for us to compete. So she kind of seems like a crazy lady, like screaming on the corner. But so I just kind of can't pay any mind to it. I can't care because until there's like an actual commitment there on a lot of fronts, like it's just talk. It doesn't matter, you know. So yeah, we'll see. Right now I just have to focus on this one, and we'll see what's next. I heard she was gone from Bellator, but I see she's still claiming that she's Bellator. I heard other promotions have said they don't want her, so I don't know where she's going to go or what she's going to do. And again, it doesn't have anything to do with me anymore, so I just have to wait and see.
And let's say that she is out of the picture. Bellator wants to do a vacant title fight. Would you be upset that they didn't do it this time, or would you be like, all right, I'll fight whoever? Or do you feel like this is the fight that needs to be for the title?
I really don't like. I don't know. I like, especially right now. It's a week out, and I can't think of what ifs or like shoulda, woulda, couldas with any decision that somebody else made for us. You know, I don't know. I don't care. It is what it is right now. I just have to focus on Lee and how that's going to go, and, getting ready for fight week.
And my last question for you, what advice would you give girls who want to get into MMA? Where should they start, and what sort of mindset should they have going in?
I mean, if I had to be honest, I feel like my introduction into the sport was perfect. Like, I think signing up for wrestling and understanding wrestling is the hardest thing that any of them will do. And wrestling is so much harder than MMA, than Muay Thai, than Jiu-Jitsu. And I'm coming from a place of experience because I do all of them. There's no breaks. There's getting thrown around. There's, you have to recover and cope with something that, just got you scored on immediately, so you can get right back into it and go hard and try to, like, change your mind and get everything set for you to come back, and it's very quick thinking. It's very sincere problem solving, all in a very short amount of time. Your will against somebody else's will, and that, just the motions that go with that, the takedowns, the throws, the surviving, the like hard hits, everything in that. I mean, if you can get that base, if you can get that strength and that strong suit, it carries you so far in these sports, because it really is applicable to a stance in Muay Thai. It really works, obviously, in Jiu-Jitsu, in your takedown game. It's a really, really strong thing to have in your back pocket as far as all these martial arts. And I would tell people to start there, and then probably go to Jiu-Jitsu, probably go to Muay Thai, obviously throw in your strength and conditioning as you go, and then find your style in your striking, to takedowns, to whatever. And obviously your coaches are really, really important, and putting yourself in what you need first. There's a lot of coaches out there that, they started with you and they care about you.
Cat running through the background.
How ironic.
Yeah.
Where, you need to be proud with how you are of you in this sport. So, a lot of coaches will come with you, like, with this, you need to be loyal to me, I started you when you were 15, and blah, blah, blah. But realistically, I think people should be adding to their game every few years, and coaches should want to push you to do that and encourage you to do that as well. Because if you don't do what's best for you, you only do what other people want you to do, you'll never meet your full potential. So, obviously you always want to come in the same door that you leave, but and keep good relationships as much as you can throughout the thing. But you need to realize what you need and do what you need, and put yourself and your needs first, and have the hard conversations, and you'll do great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.